Hello guys, it's been a while since the last time we talked about deep dive. Let's do it today. And we want to talk about Samsung because they just got slammed in India and they're eyeing in China again. So get this, Samsung just got hit with a massive $440 million in fines in India. Like seriously, this is a lot of money. That's not the slap on the wrist fine. Kind of fine that makes you really sweat. Make billionaires sweat. And apparently it got Samsung's top guy like Lee Jae-yong rethinking everything, including their whole let's move some factories to India plan. And remember a few years ago when everyone was talking about the China Plus One strategy, the idea was don't put all your eggs in the China basket, especially with all the trade war tension and US pressure, the tariff that's going on, which makes sense. So Samsung, like a bunch of other companies, thought, hey, India, it looks promising, cheap labor, big market, and they seem friendly. So let's go. Let's move to India. And at first, it was great. India rolled out the red carpet and Samsung got fast-track land deals, lower tariffs, local hiring supports, the whole works. And they were making bank too. Almost $1 billion a year for Indian sales, phones, TVs, washing machine. Samsung was the king. They even planned to strap another $300 million into a new factory in Uttar Pradesh. All signs were pointing that this was the right move. Lee Jae-yong even visited in person and wore traditional Indian clothing to bond with the Indian locals and smiled for the camera, which he often does not do. But then things started to unravel. Well, first, the workers got mad. Around September last year, Samsung's Indian factory workers started protesting. They wanted four things: legal recognition for their union, second, a doubling of their wages, third, 35 hours work week, and fourth, better benefits. Samsung's Korean managers were like, wait, what? Even our Korean workers don't get all that. So things are getting tense. The workers started slacking off. There were rumors of working slowly on purpose. And the vibe completely just flipped from teamwork just to tension. And while all that is happening, the Indian tax authority was lurking. Behind the scenes, India's tax department was already deep into investigation. They have 500 officers digging into Samsung's import records like detectives in a crime drama. What were they looking for? Evidence that Samsung's misclassified a key 5G components to dodge taxes. And bingo, they found it. Samsung was importing something called an RRH, which is called remote radio head, a core part of 5G base station. Samsung said it was just a regular electronic component, which has a low 5% import tax. India said, nope, that's a specialized telecom equipment, which means 20% tax. They argue about it for a month. Both sides standing firm, and Samsung insisted that it was an electronic part. And India was like, yeah, good try, Samsung. Eventually, the Indian court sided with the government, and Samsung was slapped with 44 billion rupee fine, and that is approximately 400 million US dollars. Damn. So Lee Jae-yong was reportedly so upset he almost cried in the bathroom. Okay, maybe not literally, but I would cry. So now what? Back to China. Now here's the fun twist. While Samsung was getting the corporate equivalent of a beatdown in India, Lee Jae-yong popped up in Beijing looking very happy actually. He visited Xiaomi's headquarters and joined some high-level business forums, smiled for the cameras, chatted with Chinese executives, and total 180 from the cold-faced CEOs he usually is in a career. And Chinese netizens were like, whoa, look at him. He's too happy. Samsung definitely wants something back from China. And honestly, they're probably right. Because China has these things. One, the biggest single market in the world. Second, the best manufacturing structure. And third, very skilled labors that you cannot find anywhere else. And Samsung might have tried to branch out, but deep down they know you cannot quit China that easily, just like the rest of the world. Even the Nvidia CEO said it very bluntly. There's only one China and there's no replacements. So why might have India done this and why it's risky? And here's the part where it gets real. It suggests that India is not just being tough for fun. It might actually be out for financial desperation. They have got 1. 500 million billion in foreign exchange reserves. 2. But 620 billion is in foreign debt. And 3rd, foreign companies like Samsung are pulling 40 plus billions years out in profits. So yeah, hitting foreign firms with big fines might be a quick way to keep that money from flying out. According to the Economic Times, over 20 billion USD in foreign business assets have been fined or frozen in recent years. And that kind of cash flow helps with budget pressures, but at what cost? So what is the big picture? Will Samsung bounce or they stay? Short term, Samsung's probably not going anywhere. India is still a huge market. Samsung needs a plan B if things gets rocky elsewhere. But what is the long term? These kind of heavy-handed tactic could really backfire. Foreign businesses are not fans of surprises, especially $440 million surprises. If this keep happening, companies might start looking for their plus one outside of India, Vietnam, Indonesia, even Mexico. Plenty of options, even back to China. So it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf effect, and it's real. If country finds a company way too often, eventually no one take them seriously anymore, and even when they are being honest. So yeah, Samsung's India story is turning into a corporate drama. 1 minute they're dancing in traditional outfits, which is funny, and printing money. The next they're getting fined into oblivion and dreaming about their ex China. So that's the story for today. Want to make it quick. Just want to talk about Samsung because we all know their phone are like little bombs, probably made in China. Not safe as well, right? Goodbye.